Up, poker people? We're going to try something new today. It's called Hand of the Day, and I hope you enjoy it. We're just going to play this hand out to start as I give you a little background on what's going on here, and then we're going to slow it down, and I'll explain why I made the decisions I made. So this hand comes from a private online club I play in. It's mostly against the same players. My opponent in this hand, Random Letter, someone I play against often. We have a long history of playing big pots versus each other. He loves to bluff me. I love to call his bluffs. And yeah, so that's how this hand starts out. Now let's slow it down for you, and I'll let you know why I did what I did. So he starts off on the button, opening it to $6, four-handed, pocket kings. I'm always going to be re-raising a button open, so that's what I do. I make it 16. He decides to make it 50. I decide to make it 141 in an effort to try to get as much money in pre-flop as humanly possible. He decides to just call, which is unfortunate because I would have liked to see him raise, but let's look at a decent chunk of money in pre-flop. So here comes the flop. Yep, pocket kings. Just about always ace magnets. There's already $300 in the middle though here, so I don't know that we're going to give up on the hand right away. In the moment, I felt like betting was going to be a stronger move than checking, so that's what I do. I bet really small, and he views this bet as weakness, so he repops me to 150, which is a pretty small bet. It doesn't necessarily make sense, just because I feel like if he had a strong ace, he's probably pretty confident in it pre-flop and gonna go all in or repop my re-raise of 140 to something bigger. Also, no, yeah, that's about it as far as my line of thinking goes here. So against some opponents, I'm probably folding. Against this particular opponent, I think I need to reevaluate the situation on the turn. So I call. We're off to a turn, which is a jack of clubs, which is a pretty good card overall. If he does have an ace, which we don't think he does, then we just picked up 4 additional outs. And if he didn't have an ace, then yeah, we're still good probably, right? So we check, and he just goes all in. And this is kind of where the hand really doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, initially, we got kings, we see the ace on board, we're just not happy. But then, as we had previously mentioned, his story isn't really making sense, right? It already doesn't make sense for him to have a strong ace based on the pre-flop action. And then on the flop, he's trying to pretty much trap us by putting in a very small re-raise. But then on the turn, instead of making a smallish trap bet, now he just goes all in. So if he's really trying to trap us, wouldn't he bet like less than all in? Probably about half of what I have left in my stack. Probably in the 150 to 160 range. But he doesn't do that. He just goes all in. So now it's a tough spot. You could make a case for folding, sure, and you can make a case for calling. I think against this particular opponent, he's shown me bluffs in some really weird spots that don't even make sense. So against an opponent that's only bluffing with some equity, then we probably get a fold. But against an opponent that's just willing to bluff no matter the situation, just when anyone, quote unquote, is weak, then this becomes a much closer decision. And this opponent had actually gotten me earlier in the day on a pretty bad suck out, so it had me slightly frustrated at him, probably slightly more likely to call him. Is that a great reason to call him? No, but with all the other factors that get into this decision, I think it can be the right call. So we call. He's got pocket nines. We just need a hold, which we do. That's great. So yeah, this was a fun hand. I hope people got some value out of watching it. And if you did, feel free to share it, like it, or comment on it. And if I get some decent feedback, I'll make more of these.